They did decide to go with family plots of land, which each family tended. And of course, they had the better technologies and the better wisdom from the Native Americans. The Native Americans said, don't make a hole like that, make it like this. Don't plow your furrows like that, plow it like that. They had knowledge from the years of living there. So better technology, better intelligence, and basically a capitalist, or I would say it's more free market.
Sure.
We've learned from surveys that the young don't like the phrase capitalism. They think that means crony capitalism, but they do love the free market. So it's interesting. So I just lean that way. But that's how the Pilgrims would have spoken as well. And their yield, come the fall of 1621, and this is almost a year after they've arrived, a little less than a year after they've arrived. Their yield was huge. And if I can keep on rattling on,
please do.
That's when their governor said, we need to have a Thanksgiving.
Okay.
Now we come down to Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
So he declared, because they had so much food and they were relieved to be out of the starving time. This is a people who are visiting graves all the time, and visiting graves of not just great grandpa, but my son, my daughter, my wife, my husband. I mean,
or maybe even my parents, right? Because
no question. Well,
they were orphans.
My point is that, though they didn't write about emotional things very much, I'm sure depression was hanging over the whole thing all the time. But they had a really good harvest because of the privatized farming, the better technologies, the better wisdom. And so in the fall of 1621, they had a 4-day Thanksgiving ceremony. I love this, by the way, because they decided to invite the 90 braves. Now the 90 braves of the natives of Samoset and Squanto outnumbered the number of pilgrims, right? If you have 120 people and half of them die, you haven't had time to replenish. So they got more braves coming. So the braves, being good guests, went out and shot a bunch of deer and turkey, brought them. And they had 4 days, which I love talking about just briefly, because they had athletic contests, they wrestled, they had shooting contests. They did all kinds of things. So there was the sports theme that we have in our modern Thanksgiving. I'm all for it. I'm all for it. I wish
we're just carrying that on.
I wish it was about different teams, but still, I won't go talk smack now. And they had a 4-day celebration. The natives taught the English how to make popcorn. It's the first time we see popcorn introduced to English life. Some of the foods we have now they wouldn't have had, but it doesn't matter. They ate mainly seafood, even though they had venison, had some fowl. They would have eaten mainly seafood because the bay was right there and they knew how to harvest it. All of the berry pies and everything, they would have had some version of that. But there are some things we can be cynical about, and every year, come Thanksgiving, the article starts trotting out about the myths and Plymouth Rock and all this stuff. But there was a Thanksgiving. It was to give thanks to God. They did invite the natives, who, remember, they had come over to try to draw to Jesus anyway. And they had 4 days of food and sports and rowdiness. And at one point, the elders had to stop a food fight. That's how much food they had. I don't know if they were throwing edible food, but they were throwing apple cores and whatever. And the elders had to stop. Well, stop. So, it's like the college, cafeteria breaking out. But I love it. It was joyous. It was faith-filled. It involved the Native Americans. Again, I feel a part of that history. And when you sit down at your Thanksgiving table, this is what was going on. And here's the thing I love most that survived through the generations, and that is, I told you that during the starving time, they had 5 kernels of corn. So there was a New England tradition that survived for generations, and even gave birth to a poem. I'll tell you the name of it in just a few moments, where what they would do when all the food had been cooked and the table had been set, the family was dressed and coming to eat the great big Thanksgiving meal, they would pause and put 5 kernels of corn on each plate.
Oh, wow.
To remember that era, the starving time. Say thank you for the first comers, is the phrase New Englanders would have used, and offer a prayer. And
that's fantastic.
I revived that in my family, my military family. My father was a colonel in the Army. We would not have done that, but we were very reverent about Thanksgiving. So when I learned this history, I did it with the kids. And at first, kids were like, "Dad, really?" I mean, there's food waiting. But if I got, as they got older into their 20s and were coming back from college, if I didn't do it, they go, "Dad, the 5 kernels."
Where's the popcorn?
And there's a famous poem by Herbert Butterworth. There's an easy name to remember with
Yeah.
Thanksgiving meals, Herbert Butterworth, which is all about the 5 kernels of corn and how they celebrated it in New England and how that's all they had during the starving time. So what I'm saying is beneath things like Plymouth Rock and some of the myths, there really was a Thanksgiving celebration. It really was an offering to God. It really was about a starving time and a vision to be Christians in a new world. And it really was about love and generations yet to come. And there really was a food fight. So, hey, it's all the things we wanted to be.